What's up, guys? Welcome to Nutmegged, a podcast where a Yank and a Brit are talking about the beautiful game from across the pond. I am Andrew, representing the Stars and Stripes. We have Faisal holding down the crown for the UK over in Dubai. But we have someone special also with us from the great state of Ohio. We have Connor Hauger, our very special guest. My guy, welcome to the podcast.
What's up, everyone?
So, Faze, before we get to chat with Connor about his illustrious soccer career, let's jump into a Nutmegged of the week just very quickly. I'll talk about mine real fast. Just a fun little nutmeg that happened in the news recently. So some Premier League icons went up against a celebrity side called Tea With Me FC. Don't hate the name. This went down in Belfast on Saturday. So it was just a bunch of like random, somewhat famous people against some old Premier League icons. They say icons. Some of these were not maybe icon worthy, but one of those was comedian Vittoro Angelone. Who knows if I'm saying that name right? And one of those Premier League icons, this one actually was Berbatov. So Dimitar Berbatov, awesome Man United player. I think also played for Fulham. And the situation that went down, just a bunch of guys having fun, and they're all older at this point now, so just a fun time for some social media clips and stuff. But Vittorio, this comedian, ends up nutmegging Berbatov. And it's funny because it looked like not an actual nutmeg. He kind of just kicked the ball at him when he was running at him in an unathletic way, and it just went through his leg, and he got the ball back, and then he celebrates like he scored a goal. So that is my literal nutmeg of the week.
That's our first one. I think that's the first time we've actually had an actual nutmeg of the week. So true to the name.
Gotta love
it. Mine is it's a quick one just around. So if you're listeners from the UK, British politics, as we know at the moment, is in a great place. We have the leader of the Conservative Party, which is the leader of the opposition at the moment in the UK, was on LBC, which is a local political broadcasting radio station, and the host asks the leader of the party how she feels about how she keeps essentially losing in terms of like debates, etc., and how the party is, and compares her to Ruben Amorim, and says why should we trust you essentially when you should potentially be out of your job in terms of the number of times you've been losing, like you're in Ruben Amorim in Manchester, as you are currently the conference party is taking place in Manchester as well, and saying that why are we comparing? What shouldn't you also be out of a job essentially as well? So just bringing the politics in, but just out of nowhere. Now this is completely politics. How is Ruben Amorim just getting a straight bullet out of nowhere? Just like,
it's kind of savage.
It's just dropping him into this political debate out of nowhere, saying you're in this. But yeah, I mean, it's just funny, not needed, because obviously we know already what Abraham's going through. As Man United fans, we know what he's going through. So just happens that way, isn't it? But yeah,
that's funny.
My of the week.
It just goes to show you the state of Manchester United getting slung left and right in a negative way. We're here for it. At least I'm here for it, because nothing's going to change anytime soon, I hate to say. But on to bigger and brighter things. We have, like we had mentioned at the top of the show, Connor Hauger joining us as a guest today. So let me give a quick intro to my guy, Connor, and you'll understand why he is my guy after we go through this introduction. And then we're just going to jump in and toss you some questions and learn about yourself and your soccer career.
Let's do it.
So I'm excited to welcome Connor Hauger to our show today. He was a soccer standout in high school. He played for Clear Fork here in Ohio. Then I was able to convince him somehow to join our project over at Terrace State Community College, where he currently holds the records for most goals in a season and most goals in a career, which he got in just one season. He is a 2-year captain, was selected as the MVP last season. He also has played at the minor league level with Firelands United last season. Connor, welcome to Nutmegged.
Hey, everyone. I'm so ready to go.
So let's dive into your soccer career. Just walk us through real quickly what it looked like, starting as a youth player, going up through high school, and now at college.
I remember starting soccer when I was 3 years old. I don't know if I wanted to, but my parents definitely wanted me to. So I remember starting soccer at a young age of 3, and and soccer and basketball and baseball as well. So trying to juggle all those was a lot. And then I remember dumping off basketball and baseball, pursuing soccer all the way through high school. And then it was in high school when I realized that I wanted to play soccer at a higher level, meaning college. And then I know I didn't want to go play too much, as in like D2, competitive D3 threes, none of that, because it was just too much. It was too demanding. I didn't want anything like that. I just wanted to have fun and enjoy the game. So I was looking at some community colleges, and Terra's was one of the first ones that I found, honestly. So I just pursued it.
Heck yeah, dude. Well, I'm glad that you did pursue it, because our seasons would have been very different without you on the pitch. So
Yeah.
now I will throw you a question, and then FaZe and I can kind of like bounce back and forth every other question if you're cool with that. So
Let's do it.
now we're talking about your soccer life. We've ended up in college. We're talking JUCO. So for those that are unaware, JUCO is the level essentially below D3, which NAIA is kind of mixed in there too. So there's not really a clear structure, but it is 2-year schools that compete at an athletic standpoint. So that essentially means you are going to a community college and you are playing for one of those teams. And that means you have 2 years of eligibility. So that's what JUCO is. So what is life like in the JUCO soccer world?
Oh man, it is what a crazy experience. It's hard for me to say that it's a crazy experience or that it's different from other, because I that's all I've ever known. I've never played at a super organized D2 or NAIA or NCAA or none of that. But I mean, talking to other people that have, I can say that JUCO is not like the rest. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I will second that. It is a wild time. So I played D2 soccer, Walsh University, and our program much more structured, more resources. Yeah. It's like a full year-round type of deal. We have strength coaches. We do lifting programs. Yeah, this is quite the different experience.
It's crazy.
Sure. The stuff you see, very interesting.
It's really weird because, like like last year, as you know, we had a trainer 1 day a week for a couple hours. Like the resources in JUCO are just not there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And it's so unique because we go up against some JUCO schools that have tons of money, tons of resources, super nice campus, a full coaching staff. Yeah. And then, we're here at Terra and I can't even get an assistant coach.
Yeah, we can't even get socks with our uniforms.
Yeah, yep. I got to provide those every year.
Yep.
So obviously this is a new experience for me, JUCO specific. It's the first time I've ever heard of it, which is useful. D3, D2, very interesting. Going to obviously look into that further. But obviously you kind of spoke about here is there's a lot of pressure obviously during it. How do you sort of react to pressure off the field and also on the field, especially as a captain as well as of the captain of the team?
As being a captain, I take it a little bit different. I feel like I handle the pressure pretty well, especially on the field. I keep my composure. I don't freak out. I don't take it out on other players. If something does go wrong on the field, it's a simple one-on-one with another player, getting to hear their side and stuff. Don't overreact. It doesn't cause anything good. It really just makes things worse.
Yeah, I think you handle yourself very well on the pitch from like a mental standpoint, and then especially when you interact with teammates, because we also have seen the gambit of high-level players and some very low-level players on our roster.
Yeah, yeah, we have kids of all different kinds of talent last year and then this year as well. So it's hard to deal with the different levels of competition, but really, I mean, they're all here for the same reason, so you got to treat them the same.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that you do that. So when you're talking transition from high school to college soccer, what has that been like for you?
Honestly, it's been like a seamless transition for me. High school, weirdly to say, it was almost more organized. Not from like the soccer standpoint, but the school in general. Talk like just like the trainer and stuff and resources like that, recovery, ice baths, simple stuff like that was so accessible in high school. And then you come to college and you have a game 4 times a week, and you don't have recovery resources. So that was a little weird. That transition was a little strange to me.
I agree. It was a weird transition for me as a coach as well. So I came from Buckeye Valley High School, and we were just kind of a random school in the middle of farm fields over in Delaware, Ohio. And we had so many more resources. Like there were 2 trainers on staff and tons of like different options in terms of recovery from ice baths, trainers doing specific work with our players, always being around, having a golf cart going from practice to practice. Yeah, so high school, unfortunately, has even more resources than a lot of JUCO schools out there, which is a little fun.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Obviously, you got coaches in terms of your transition as well from was it high school to where you are now. And what is there any people, any particular coaches or any particular players that have inspired you as you've kind of grown to where you are today?
Definitely. Obviously, Coach Wallach has been huge to me coming to Terra. It was one of the main reasons I came, honestly. But besides him, some of the players on the team have been huge to me. Brandon's my best friend. Brandon Lucene, he's my best friend. I talk to him every day on and off the field. And then you meet so many different kinds of people. Like Matt Tobias is crazy, and he's willing to do anything, anytime. It doesn't matter where you are. He's just crazy. And then you have some players who are so much more chill. So it's helped me to balance myself a lot more.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we have quite the eclectic group of individuals, and it's fun being around all these different guys. But,
Nice.
That's cool, man. So let's talk one specific thing that happened this season, and that's a little bit difficult. You broke your leg, so you went in on a challenge. It was just a weird type of collision. Your leg just kind of got stuck underneath, and you broke one of your bones in there. So maybe talk to me about that experience, and then specifically from the mental standpoint of how knowing this is like your last JUCO season, potentially your last soccer season in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a thing that any athlete wants to go to, regardless of the sport. I think my love shows much more for soccer than most athletes do for their sport. So I feel like it's very difficult for me. But on the other side, this is my third time breaking my leg. 2 of them soccer related. So I've been down this path. I'm pretty used to it now. I can say that it's mentally harder than it is physically. It hurts still. Physically it hurts, but mentally it hurts showing up to practice and games, knowing that you're just there to watch and there's not a whole lot that you can do.
So that I know is a common thing, unfortunately, with a number of different athletes, like you said, in different sports. How do you handle that mentally, like that stress and like seeing that, knowing you're on the sideline and can't play? Like, how do you handle that internally yourself?
I handle it pretty well, better than you would think, honestly. I try not to stress about it because it's just God's way. That's what He wanted to happen. So I'm just going to show up and support the team. You can really just make the best of it. That's all that you can honestly do. It sucks, but there's no changing it. I can't just fix my leg and put the boots on and get back on the field. So you just have to keep going and make the best of it.
Wow, 3 times. That's a lot mentally. Even me hearing that, I'm like shuddering at the thought of that, because even one would make, because I did my ACL maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and that was brutal. I'm not in the same level of football, so I had to retire early, shall we say. But from your side, I'm trying to take you back for a second in terms of the good times of when you were a captain and when you are the captain in terms of like the day-to-day on the pitch, for example. Is there any particular moments that you thought, yes, like I've stood firm as a captain, or I've done a particular thing that has really changed and made a difference in the game?
Yeah, especially last year. I mean, every year I kind of feel some moments like that. Not so much this year, obviously, because I didn't get to play very much. But last year especially was huge, and I felt like I was making an impact not only on the field, but I was making an impact on other players and other student athletes here at Terra. And that's a great feeling. I can remember one time specifically last year, there would be a couple of guys on the team who just want to show up to practice and they don't want to do the work outside to improve or get better. And I think I work pretty hard to improve myself off the field. If we're not at practice, you're in the gym, you're eating right, working out, going on runs, whatever it is. And I think I inspired some other players to do that as well. And that really made me feel impactful.
Yeah, you definitely did. It's one of my favorite things that you do as a coach is when we're running and some of the guys that are not as in shape because maybe they didn't do the fitness packet that I gave them, they're trailing a bit behind, and then you would finish before everyone else usually, and then you would run out and like go with the last guy and like help him finish his last leg of the run, like that. Just community.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I think that's something that's super important, because should they be that far behind? No, because they probably didn't do their packet. They probably didn't do their summer workout. And at the end of the day, that is on them. But we are a team, and when we're running, we need everyone to be in shape, and we need everyone to keep a positive mindset when running, and they don't want them to get down on themselves, because that just hurts the confidence levels, and that doesn't do anything good for you or on the team on the field.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, because not only does that help them get better, but it helps them feel more part of the team. So that's just a good leadership element that you include, which as a coach, greatly appreciated. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk about something that we've talked about many times, and it's personal to both you and myself. You're talking about hanging up the boots at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I know that is on the table. You did play for Firelands United, so the minor league team that I have created and helped manage and direct, and I will be coaching next season. So I'm still actively trying to convince you to return for a second season for that, which I know you've talked about maybe wanting to hang up at the boots at the end of this season. With, I know, the leg breaking situation, it makes it a little funky as well. But in general, how do you know when it's time to hang up the boots for you? This is going to be unique to each player, but yeah, what is your specific space on that?
Yeah, like you said, it definitely is unique to each player, because there was players in high school who would play half a season and then they're like, I'm done. Or they would finish high school and they're like, I definitely don't want to go play in college. So it's definitely unique to each player. Me, I don't know. It's hard because I've always wanted to just go work a job and make money. See what else life has to offer. Soccer is all I've ever done, so I just want to see what else is out there. Maybe travel a little bit. I just want to experience different parts of life, honestly.
Heck yeah, dude. No, that's so good. I'm excited for you to experience life. So not only did we get to do all this awesome soccer stuff together, you helped me start up this pizza shop over here as well. So we've shared a lot of time together, which is great. So I'm so excited.
We've done a lot of crazy stuff together.
We have. So I'm excited for you to go out and experience life and see all this cool stuff, and then come back and tell me some of your crazy stories. So I'm excited for that. However, I will still continue to bug you about Firelands. So don't you worry.
You can try.
I will try until the maybe middle of the season. So I will
throughout the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, because I can bring you in until that transfer date closes. So I'll keep grinding on that. All right. Well, thanks, Connor, for joining us. We do have to ship him off because he has to go work his on-campus job like a good student that he is. But honestly, it has been a joy being able to coach him, having him as a captain, not only at Terra State for the project that we are trying to build, because as we talked about a little bit, JUCO soccer experiences are very unique, especially at Terra State with a lack of resources. So having him has been just so wonderful to try to be able to build here at Terra, but then also at Firelands United, having him be a part of the original first ever roster there. Like, I would not have selected any other player first to be on the team. And he was like legitimately the first official player on the Firelands roster. So it was cool to have him help kind of build that and shape that and be a part of that original team. It's been fun to be around him. So Connor, all the best. Appreciate that. And looking forward to continue our season, because Terra State, we still got many more games to go. He joins me on the sideline. He helps me coach a little bit. So it's fun having him around. Faze, to you, what's your thought now overall on like JUCO soccer and all the stuff he was talking about?
Yeah, it's interesting. I like the kind of understanding behind like how difficult potentially was. For example, like you kind of like joking about the fact sometimes you don't have socks with it. You have like your top and so like it's really interesting. It kind of reminds me of it like in the UK when you do have, for example, like Sunday leagues essentially, maybe not necessarily like as much from a community perspective, but like those Sunday leagues are like community teams, small teams, for example, where certain players, for example, just call in sick, they aren't going to play. Like sometimes they don't have any refs, for example. So it was quite interesting to kind of hear that, and he's a great lad as well. Just hear him talk about yourself specifically, but also talk more generally about football and his love for football, and how for me it's how he's come back from the multiple injuries, and still he's speaking at football with a smile on his face. And psychologically, that says a lot about him as a character, but also his love for football, his passion for football. So maybe like with you by his side, like maybe there's a potential of coaching going into that, and him knowing what works on the pitch, for example. I think a lot of captains do end up going into coaching anyway, so that might be a potential angle for him to kind of go into. But yeah, fair play. Like I said, I think you've obviously done a good job with the team, but also with him as well, which is really good to see. So yeah, like I said, I would love to get more players on. If you're listening and you're a player as well, and from different leagues, for example. So we want to kind of understand that more. And I think that's a really fascinating angle for both of us as well, also from the podcast, is to get an understanding of where is it you've come from and what is different about your league and what it is that makes your league so good and what makes you so good as a player is something that I'd love to venture more into. But yeah, really great meeting him, and of course, all the best for the future. And I'm sure he's got a great future ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to go do some good stuff in life, because not only is he an awesome soccer player, but he's talked about a little bit of his captaincy things that he does as a leader on the pitch and off the pitch too. So yeah, he's just a good dude all around, great character. And that's what we look for at Firelands. So even when we're actually getting ready for tryouts now, when I post the application, it includes the description of the club, what we're looking for. So it's, of course, like, you got to be able to compete at the level where we play, but you also have to be a good person, because you're representing our club, our coaching staff, our community, and yourself with everything that you do. So that's why, yeah, you have to be a good character as well. So couldn't have asked for a better guy to be the first official Firelands United player. But all right, I'm going to sign us off here. And FaZe did have a nice little piece of saying, yo, if you want to be on the podcast, you got a unique soccer perspective, hit us up, drop us a DM. We would love to hear from you and about your unique soccer experience. But fam, we are out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in about 2 weeks. Before then, jump on our Instagram and TikTok accounts at Nutmegged Network to DM us your listener questions, your take it or leave it submissions, or if you know someone that wants to jump on and be an interviewee, please do that. Hopefully you're able to get on a pitch somewhere, but just don't get nutmegged. Peace.
Peace.